Hey guys, this is Nathan, 7A math teacher. Welcome to another video. And for this video, we're going over 1.6 subtracting integers. And this is part of the shortened series. This is more to the point than the other 1.6 subtracting integers. So let's talk about subtracting integers. Okay, so think of an example. Okay, so think of numbers as balloons and weights. Balloons are positive and weights are negative. Okay, so we have a basket that has balloons and weights tied to it. So the balloons here represents the positive and the weights represent negative. So subtracting positive number. So subtracting positive numbers is similar to taking away balloons. So when we subtract positive, think of it as you're taking a balloon out of this basket. What happens when you take out the balloon? It falls down, right? It goes lower. An example of that is 6 minus 3. You'll get 3. You get a smaller number. Now how about adding a negative number? Adding a negative number is similar to adding weights. We're adding another, look in the basket, we're adding another weight. That means what happens to the basket when we add a weight? It falls down because it's heavier. An example of this is 6 plus negative 3, and if you do your addition rule correctly, you're going to get 3. So what does this tell us? What does this two illustration tells us? It tells us that taking away balloons and adding weights both makes the basket go down. In other words, subtracting a positive is similar to adding a negative. And this will help us do subtracting integers. But let's make it more general. So to make it more general, we get subtraction rule, which is basically to subtract an integer. Instead of subtracting, we're going to add its opposite. So in other words, we change minus to plus, and the right side number into its opposite. So an example is, here's a common mistake when we change subtraction to add. It's this one, negative 7 minus 5. We're going to change that to, some people change it to negative 7 plus 5. And that is wrong. You know, the reason why is we're only changing minus to plus. Where's the other part? Where's the change the right side number into the opposite number? So the correct way is actually negative 7 minus 5. You're going to change that to negative 7 plus negative 5. Here's another common mistake. Negative 5 minus negative 2. You're going to change that to negative 5 plus negative 2. You're only changing the minus to plus. You're not going to, you sometimes forget to change the right side number to the opposite number. So you see how it stays the same, right? So the correct way is actually negative 5 minus negative 2 changes to negative 5 plus 2. So another way, when you guys are doing your subtraction rule, a good way to think of this is you're never going to change signs in a 1-to-1 ratio. Either you're going to change it, you're either going to have one sign becomes two signs, or two signs becomes one sign. As shown here, one sign here minus becomes a plus negative. Here you have a minus negative becomes a positive, and not positive just becomes plus. So as you can see, you can either go to two signs to one sign or one sign to two signs, but never a 1-to-1 ratio. Okay, so let's start subtract. Let's do some examples because I love examples. So what we do here first is we're going to change this subtraction problem into an addition problem. So this becomes, let's draw an arrow, -7 -7 plus -5. And then what do we do here? We do the addition rule. Again, you need to subtract integers. You guys need to remember addition rule. Addition rule tells us that since they have the same signs, what do? We're going to add 7 plus 5 should give you guys 13. And is that all? Nope. What is the common sign? The common sign is negative. So your final answer is -13. Let's change. Let's do B. We have -5, and then minus -2 becomes what? Plus, we're going to change minus to plus, and what is the opposite of -2? Positive 2. So let's draw parentheses so you know -2 changes to 2. And then what we're going to do is addition rule, which is basically 5 minus 2, which will give us 3. And that should give you, what's the answer? Just 3? No. What is the sign? Which one's larger? 5 or 2? 5. So the sign should be what? Negative. So your answer is -3. Now let's do C. This will give us 11 plus -19. And this is addition rules. This is scenario 2, which is say that we're going to subtract 19 minus 11 to get 8. So your final answer should be 8. And what is the sign? Positive or negative? Negative. You know why? It's because 19 is bigger than 11. So your final answer is -8. Again, just quick reminder, as long as you properly change the sign and know the addition rule, we're able to subtract integers. So let's do some evaluate. So first thing first, when we're doing evaluate, is we want to rewrite the expression so that x is -2. So now we're going to rewrite the problem as and now should give you -2 minus x -2 minus -20, and that should change by subtraction rule. We're going to get -2 plus, what is the opposite of -20? Positive 20. So negative 2 plus 20 should give you addition rule. So tells us that subtract 20 minus 2 to get 18. So your final answer is 18. And what is the sign? Positive, because 20 is larger than negative 2. Let's go down. Again, we're going to rewrite the expression 7 minus negative 2. Again, x is negative 2, and then minus, it stays the same. Okay, don't change signs. Don't forget signs. Do not change signs yet. Just rewrite the expression so that x is negative 2, and everything stays the same. Now we're doing a subtraction rule, which says that we're going to change minus to plus, and we're going to change negative 2 to its opposite. What is opposite of negative 2? Well, that's simply 2. And what is 7 plus 2? Do we need addition rule for that? Not really. That's simple addition. 7 plus 2 is 9. So your final answer is 9. So I want you guys to pause the video and try these 4 examples by yourself. Okay. Hopefully you pause the video. Now let's try to practice all together. 2 minus 7. First thing first is change the subtraction to addition problem, and that is 2 plus minus becomes plus, and 7 is now negative 7. 2 plus negative 7 is addition rule. Anyone? You'll get 5. And what is the sign? Positive or negative? Negative. Okay, let's do 2. Negative 7 plus, change minus to plus. And what is the opposite of 4? Negative 4. So now we have negative 7 plus negative 4. This is addition rule. Tells us to add, same signs, add. And 7 plus 4 is 11. And what is the sign of 11? Positive or negative? Negative. Why is that? Because they share the common sign of negative. Excuse me. Last practice. 25 minus y. First thing first, rewrite the expression. 25 minus negative 14. And then we're going to change this into an addition problem. 25 plus 14. And what is 25 plus 14? That is simply 39. Last part, negative 9 minus negative 14 tells us to change the problem. Negative 9 plus 14. Addition rule tells us since they have different sign, we subtract. 14 minus 9 is 5. And what is the sign of 5? Negative or positive? Negative. So that's your final answer. Or no, my bad. Positive. My bad on that. It's actually positive. And that's basically it. So you did 1 to 4 practice. Good job. And let's move on to our last lesson. Evaluating change. Evaluating change is we're going to find change in variable quantity such as temperature and elevation. So what do I mean by that? Well, we're just going to subtract the value of the quantity after the change minus the original value, and you'll get the change in value. You can change it. You can do this to find your discount. So let's say most of the time you'll probably just use it to find the difference between the temperature. So let's have an example. A temperature in the morning is 32 degrees Fahrenheit, and in the afternoon is negative 10 degrees Fahrenheit. Find the change in temperature. So you want to do is you want to do the value of quantity after the change. So which is after the change? Is this the morning or the afternoon? It's going to be the noon. Noon is later, so and then which one's the original? It's going to be morning. Okay, something's weird. Not bad on that. Minus morning. Noon minus morning is basically what's the noon afternoon? Negative 10 degrees minus 32 degrees Fahrenheit. Negative 10 minus negative 10 plus minus 32. Again, just change it to an addition problem. And that should give you, what do we do when we have same signs? We're going to add. 10 plus 32 should give you guys 42. And what is the sign of 42? Negative 42. So I want you guys to do the same thing on the practice. Try it on your pause the video right here and try to do this part by yourself, and then we'll do it. Okay, hopefully you guys did it. First thing first, we're going to do the practice. So which is the noon temperature is going to be. We're just going to use this as the template. Noon minus morning. So what is the noon temperature? Is going to be 25 degrees minus negative 2. Some people would just put 2. Don't do that. Include the negative, okay? We're not talking about positive 2, we're talking about negative 2. So indicate it. This is not your this is not your negative, this is minus. Okay, some people just think, oh, just because we have a minus here doesn't mean means that we don't need the negative for the 2. No, that's wrong. We need the negative, okay? Okay, can say try. Change this minus problem to an addition problem, and we're going to get 25 plus, what's the opposite of negative 2? Positive 2. So your final answer is 27 degree Fahrenheit, or you can just put 27. Either one is correct. Hopefully you follow along for this video. That's it for today. Good luck.